Morning, everyone. Ron Nicoletti here with Brian Nato. Of course, Samantha B joining us throughout the afternoon. And, we bandy this saying around the Chamber of Commerce Day all the time. This is the one. Today is the one.
Yeah,
it's absolutely gorgeous, right?
Perfect Sunday out here, a little cut in the air, humidity's low and fast and firm, and we've made it to Sunday, April 13th for a mandatory Rainbow Six, and happy to have everybody aboard on Gulfstream today. It's going to be a huge day.
And I always defer to you. What are you expecting in the pool thereabouts?
I think I like over 4.5 million.
Oh.
I'd like to think 5 million is in play, regardless whatever it is. It'll be a huge multi-million-dollar pool, and it's a tough sequence, and I think people like that.
Yeah, it's a humdinger, as we say in France. Yeah, humdinger. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
So as Brian mentioned, fast main track, firm turf course. We've got a lot to get to today, so we're going to jump right into the early pick five. Brian's got a ticket.
Yeah, I got a $60 early five here. We'll go three deep in the opener. A couple scratches up in race two, but I always did have the 11 on top, Ron. That's my long shot, Will of a Warrior, and that's why one of the reasons why I played this for a little bit more than I normally would. Race three, your order is 63, Bravo Kitten on top. Race four, the 7 is my best bet of the day. That is Sterling Harmony, and that's a little bit of a bold best bet, so that's another reason why. And in race number 5, to kick off the rainbow, to kick off the TT pick 3, what a doozy it is, my friend, and I'll try the speed of the 1 Seeking by the Storm. In a race where I gotta believe if you're playing a real rainbow, you gotta spread it.
No, you gotta spread in the first 3 legs. When you come 5, 6, and 7, I believe, and then you could sort of maybe cherry pick a couple of 1 or 2 horses, but certainly in the first, including that 5th race. Getting right to this race this afternoon, current 9-5 favorite is the number 2 Spicy Guacamole, and I like guacamole, but I certainly didn't put this horse on my ticket, so I guess I don't like it today.
I don't like guacamole. I use this horse underneath. It's Victor Barboza off the claim, so we can get to that one in a second, but I wouldn't want to take too short of a number.
Yeah. We went with the outside horse, I love Venezuela.
I mean, you look at the race last time for Ray Yanez. If you're not familiar with Ray Yanez, we didn't see him a lot during the championship meet. That's because he's over at Tampa. Yeah. Now we're going to see him a little more in the summer and late spring here. Very high percentage barn that can win races, and I love Venezuela's last race, which was here at Gulfstream Park, was just comfortably better than anything anybody's going to do in here. So, and I like this post as well for her.
I like the work Oscar Gonzalez does, sure. And he's got down in the bayou, and I thought that was a good performance. Got beat as the favorite last time out at 5. I think maybe 5.5 will help that horse this afternoon. So, different ways to go. Yeah. Go into race number 2. We're going to go a mile, 70 yards on the Topita. And these were maiden claimers, and the 3-year-olds end up in. We're going to scratch the 1, the 4, and the number 7. Brian, you got your pick 4 here, and you want to show it?
Yeah, we'll just spin it back out there on social and for race 2. It's just a rerun of the early pick 5, $20.
Well, let's start it off with your number 11, which you always had at the top. I had him on this second. I thought he'd run well.
Yeah, okay, this was my long shot. Now, when you scratch a 4-1 and a 5-1, well, that probably is out the window, but I still kind of think we're supposed to get 6 or so in this spot. The horse was 47 and 35-1 the last 2 times he's been on Topita. The dirt races, I hope he's not just a dirt horse, because they were better than the Topita races, but the point is the Topita races that he showed 3 and 4 back, they're not far from anybody in here, Ron, and I know you've got the 8 on top. I'm sure you don't trust anybody in here.
No, I got the Garincha. Yeah. If you look at this horse, Gustavo Delgado comes back as a gelding, hasn't been seen since November, facing maiden special weight competition, but getting beat a country mile in both of them. Yeah. What am I getting for 12.5 today? Guesswork. Handicapping wise, I agree with you with the 11 horse, and I think that's a major player in there. Yeah. And right next door, maybe the Showboat can run well for Ruben Sierra. I thought maybe this horse would grab a share trying to Topita for the first time.
Yeah, 3 scratches are going to help him draw in a little bit as well. The morning light favorite was 4-1, is scratched out of here. I wouldn't want, make sure you get value in this race.
Our first turf race of the afternoon is going to be the 3rd. It's 1 mile. It's a claimer, and these are fillies, 3-year-olds and fillies mares. 4-year-olds and up, which not won 3 races. Scratch the inside horse, number 1, Starry Hope. That one was a long shot, 30-1. Brian, you got the number 6 on top this afternoon.
Yeah, this is Bravo Kid. The two Saffies I kind of think are in good spots here. Bravo Kitten and his other runner as well as the 3. And I went with Bravo Kitten on top. I think the turf form might be against way better, and she's never been in a spot like this, Ron, off a pretty just stiff class drop.
Well, I went with a bit of a long shot, and he got
that.
third on top, and that's Pegs A.K. Girl from Sam Walensky, who hasn't started many horses, but he does a good job.
Yeah.
And if you look at this horse's last race, now this is the first time in this barn. It was with Robert Falcone. Before that, broke from post 10, was going a mile, so he was done in first of all by the post. But you look who won the race. That's Goats on the Tree. What did Goats on the Tree? He went up to Keelan, won an allowance race. The horse that finished second, Smiley Ellie, came back to win. So I'm just thinking a good barn. That was off a long layoff. Yep. There's a lot of positive upside for me.
I'm going to say this very, very quietly. She was my best bet last time.
Really? Well, we'll get it this time. So I got it this time.
She's got to run better today, that's for sure.
And just you touched on Bravo Kitten,
Yeah.
and the number 3 horse in there, Beach Ready, I thought was a good player in the spot.
Yeah, both of them make perfect sense. Both of them are likely to be favored. Neither of them have to win, though.
We'll go to race number 4 this afternoon, and this one is 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Claimers for 3-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 in life. No scratches in this race, no jockey changes. As always, Pete will be up after we're done to give you all the changes and stuff. This is a middle pick 4, I believe.
Yeah, we can take a quick look at my ticket now, and this is an aggressive single because this is my best bet of the day. We already talked about race 5. We can put it up, guys, real quick, and I'll run through race 6 as well. Race 6, I've got the 6 on top, Bottomless Mimosa, and in race number 7, thank you guys, 31 is the order, Blue Slide Park. You already mentioned Oscar Gonzalez. That's a big drop. A lot of people are going to be tight in there in the Rainbow because the one thought is clearly the horse to beat.
Yeah, definitely the one to beat in there. I went a little deeper in my Rainbow, which we'll be talking about after the break. But let's get back to this 4th race this afternoon. And I have your 7, but I have it in 3rd.
Yeah, well, this is an aggressive best bet, Ron. First of all, there's just you can't pick 3-0, okay?
Right.
There's just no way you can pick 3-0. So now we got Steve Dwoskin going a little bit again, right? He's starting to put some wins together, and we got a horse now that's 3rd off a very long layoff, 3rd in the form cycle. So that typically says you're going to get the best run of the horse. Your horse, Christensen, who could be, the second favorite in here, is rock solid. Well, we weren't that far behind Christensen last time, and I got to believe Sterling Harmony now 3rd off, and what I just mentioned is still got to move forward in him, and he's going to offer some value too. So I'll take a stab.
Yeah, no, I got him on the ticket for all the reasons you mentioned. Christensen is my top pick just off that performance last time out. Thought it was good, coming right back to Oscar Gonzalez. The 3 horse, you're right. Did I put it on top? No, you can't trust 3-0. Seems to never, ever win.
2 for 35, 15 underneath finishes. Always seems to find trouble. Always seems to find 1 or 2 better. So I just don't. And he's going to look. He's 7-5 on your morning line. Quickly, if you want an alternative, we're going to show you Star of the Beast here.
Yep.
He had a real trip last time. He's very, very slow on figures. But he had a real trip last time. He's going to end up being beaten a neck here. And this is a big-time run because you're going to see him right here get completely sandwiched out of it. He essentially gives up first run because of that to 4 different horses. And when you're there on the Tapeta and that's what happens to you, you're in deep, deep water, Ronnie. And he's trying to come through on the inside, and he gets beaten a neck.
Yeah.
This was a big-time performance.
Yeah, it's really good to show that. Yeah, definitely good to show that thing. And I did not have my ticket. I wouldn't have to go back and maybe add that one because he should have won that race, that horse. Right,
I agree with you there. Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have all our Rainbow Six tickets. Yeah, we'll show them all right now and see what we've got going on. Of course, mandatory payout. Take that short break. We'll be right back.
And they're off.
New DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views, Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Welcome back to Gulfstream. Today, Ron and Brian here. Mile in the 16th on the turf. These are claimers, and this is where the Rainbow Six is going to start. We have no scratches in this first leg. 9 will go to the post. We, all three of us, Samantha, Brian, and myself, put tickets together. Samantha and I did a show. It's on YouTube. You can see that. Basically seeing what I think, but let's see what Samantha thinks right now with her ticket.
Yeah, I haven't seen her ticket. It's a 162. It's a big one. I like it. It's a day to take a couple rubber bands off the bankroll. You can see she's got a single in race 8, and that is the one, May Mischief. That's interesting because that's a race where the 9, Make Haste, is going to be a very short price. The big spread is in race 9, 6 deep there. I'm 5 deep there. I agree with that. And 5 deep in a turf finale that I hope everyone is alive to, and I hope everybody's spreading because that is not easy either, Ron.
Well, my best bet is in race number 9, so we'll see. I
right.
didn't single it, but I just my best bet. Show you my ticket right now. Mine is 160. No, there it is, 150. I got a bunch of tickets now. 115, as I mentioned. 2 deep. 4 deep in the 5th, we'll talk about it. 4 deep in the 6th, 3 with the 2nd. Then in race number 8, I agree with you with her and you with the 1 and the 9, May Mischief, and the number 9, Make Haste, I think is the one to beat. Race 9, the 3 on top, North End Lady, that is my best bet. That's why I didn't go too deep in there. And in the last race, 7, 8, and 9 in that turf race there. My top pick being the 7. That is the first time started from Brad Cox, so I wasn't totally sold. So I used Timeless Wonder and also the number 9, Super Willy Wong.
All right, I got a $1.60, $2 less than Samantha. I'll tweet out a budget ticket as well. 5 deep in the opening leg. Race number 6, 4 deep with Bottomless Mimosa, the 6 on top. Race number 7, just 2 deep for me. The 3 on top, Blue Slide Park. Race number 8, I got a single, Make Haste. I think the race suits her. I'd love to just wheel that race, to be perfectly honest with you, but I don't have $2,000. Race number 9, the 3, North End Lady. I'd like to buy that race. That's your best bet, right, Ronnie? And in race number 10, Wonderland, the 2 at a square price for Cassie and DJ. That is a tough one. There's going to be a lot of people singling the 9 in race 8, Ron, if she does not win. And Samantha's best bet is the 1, May Mischief for C2 and Safi. We'll see. There's a hellacious pace shaping up in that race.
Yeah, $160. So, we'll get right into this race now, and we got a couple of videos we want to show. I want to just start it with my long shot of the day, and it's 5, Carnane. And I just thought this horse, we get the Tropical Turf pick 3 popped up too.
Yeah.
See, she's going 3 deep in race 5. And that single in race number 8 again. And then in the last race, I think those are the logical horses.
Well, they're the logicals. I agree with that, but that is a spread kind of race, so we'll see about it. Hopefully everybody's alive. That carryover quickly, 588 in the 558 in the Rainbow, so that's right around $4.5 million to me.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out. It's going to be a great day, and couldn't ask for better weather. So jumping back into this 5th race now, I'll talk about Carnane. I just thought this horse was interesting to me for Carlos Navarez. We've been watching him work for the last couple of days. So I'm going to show you a quick stat, and you see this horse comes off the maiden win, but that was second off the claim by him. So I'm going to show you a stat that'll pop up in 1 second. Second off the claim past year, he's good. He's 23%, 62% in the money. Why the past year? This is when she's been, when he's been doing it. You get Rajiv in the saddle. But did I just use this horse? No.
No, and you're not going to see this horse on my picks, but I did use this horse. This is the 5th horse I used. This horse has good turf form. For a different trainer, I don't really know if she's the same horse as she was. This horse has good turf form, and I'm not playing a spread kind of ticket without this horse, that's for sure.
Yeah, so let's, what you want to show the video of the number 1 horse in here, and that is Seeking the Storm along with its Factual.
Yeah, so this is the 1 today, Seeking by the Storm, and then the outside horse, 9, it's Satisfactual. Seeking by the Storm's got the speed. It's Satisfactual doesn't. They run 3-4 in this race. But you look at this race today on paper. There is not a lot of speed in this race, and it's Seeking by the Storm is down on the inside. The rails are at 24 feet today. She ran very well. She only gave it up in very, very deep stretch. You can see her still trying to kick again here. Maybe we can shake loose today. Jose Morelos rode her last time, so he's gotten to know her a little bit. Speed on the turf is dangerous. This is a wide open race where I don't really trust anybody. I don't mind taking one of them that I think at least will be in front.
You know, I had It's Satisfaction. Also, I have the What's Seeking the Storm on there. Now, what did we do with the number 2 horse in here? And that's Lady River Lily. I know you got a video you want to show with Mamuka.
Yeah, so this is Mamuka's win, her debut win, because that's the only time she's been on turf. Lady River Lily runs second in this race, but then she comes back to win. So it certainly flattered Mamuka, who at 52-1 just absolutely blew things up for Jose Garofalo. She's getting back to the turf today. She's going to be another square price because people are going to either see the no-show on Tapeta or they're going to see the 52-1 on turf. She's not out of the realm of possibility in here at all, Ron.
No, she certainly fits in that level. And that's what we're saying. It's a wide open. Thus, you going 5 deep, would you go? And I went 4 deep in opening leg. I thought it was a really, really tough situation. A lot about the pace. We'll see how it goes. I'm taking a little bit of a shot with the Carnane, the Irish bred for Carlo Navarez, but you can see we went different ways. I think the 2 might be ready to go in there. Race number 6 this afternoon is a 6 furlong maiden event for Philly 3-year-olds, and Samantha has a late pick 5 in there. By the way, scratch the 7. Worth considering, and here's her ticket, $72.
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit of a run back. You can see her single in race 8. That's a pretty bold one, I think. They're going to bet that horse, but it's Safi and C2 trying the turf today, and then a 3x4 double. $72 late pick 5, and of course that's smack dab in the middle of that mandatory rainbow.
You know, I talked to you the other day when I was looking at race number 6. I said, it just sort of works for a first-time starter in this spot. So, do you want to show the work of the 4?
Yeah.
Whoa, Little Lady from Mike Yates, who does an excellent job with first-time starters.
Yeah. We'll see this work now. This is the end of the work. She was basically left behind by these 2 horses. And I know the 2 horses in front of her, A, aren't much, and B, they're kind of what we'll call them, not pulling up, but slowing up. But she really does with a rush here, almost like she kind of figured it out here. Yeah. And this was impressive. She didn't especially break that great from the gate here. And as you can see, the other 2 horses are definitely slowing. But this looked like a work where she's going to run on late. You got the stat for Mike, too. Yeah. I don't know what the stat is. We'll show it. But he's overall 23%. This is his jam, Ronnie.
First-time starters are third in the past 5 years, 21%. But this is what 106 horses, 45% of the money, and still that positive return invested. Miguel Vasquez, can't ask for any better than him. So, like when I did the race, I just thought first-time starter.
Yeah.
Now, you went with Bottomless Mimosa, who I have on my ticket, and I did add 4. I had 4 in my rainbow, too. So I think the 6 has a big shot in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's first-time Antonio for Tammy Bobo, and Sano was with Kenny McPeak in New York and then at Churchill Downs. The 3 races she comes out of, and admittedly she didn't do a lot of running in any of them, just one of them really. These are stakes kind of horses. You see Stunner, she was down here this winter. Great, she won the Forward Gal down here. Lasix, and he says, Antonio says, Edgard's eyes, you want to ride? Edgard says, yes, I do.
Yeah, that's big. That's huge in there. Now, we didn't, at least on a ticket, use the number 5, Omargo, and I think you want to show a workout for this horse?
Yeah, this is another first-time starter. This is for Amador Sanchez. And who's riding today? Hector Berrios. And you're probably familiar with him here, but if you're not aware, because he hasn't been here in a bit, he went out to Santa Anita, went out to California, and has blown up and has become one of the top jockeys here. I didn't really love this work. She's really reaching out, but the ears are pricked, and she looks like she's got some speed. Now, the stats don't show this anymore because it's been a minute since Hector's been here, but because you see 0 for 6, 0 for 9 for Amador Sanchez. Well, when he rode here on a consistent basis, these guys were in the 20s to low 30s together. Watch the tote board on this horse. Check out the double will pays. See who's live in here.
Well, Hector Berrios, the king of the turf out Saturday. They say he's the best guy in the turf. I never saw it here. Good for him.
Real quickly, Ron, the beauty of this race, too, is they're not going to be able to bet enough money on the 1. It's a My Race horse. I don't want anything to do with the horse. She's probably going to be a real heavy favorite because of that money. It happened her debut. She was favored over Roja Rita in her debut. Come on now. They're going to bet her hard.
Well, she was favored because of what you said.
Exactly.
because it's my racehorse, which is skewed. And glad you brought that up.
Yep.
And I had it on my ticket, and I didn't want to get beat. Now, race number 7 is 7 furlongs claimers. These are 4-year-olds and upward. And we do have a scratch in here of the number 5, Looney Sema, and a jockey change on the number 8 horse in here, Major King, make that runner, Cipriano Gill. And as you mentioned, Brian, well, you got your late pick 4, so let's show that first.
Real quickly on a $30 late pick 4, just 2 deep here. You can see the single in race number 8. That's the 9, Make Haste. We spread deep in race 9 with the 3, North End Lady, and to get out, number 2, Wonderland in the finale. $20 late 4, Ron.
Late pick 4 in here. And as you mentioned earlier, we lost one of the horses in there, the scratch, but the replay of Thought that certainly looks like the one to be.
You got to show this replay first because the race goes through Thought, because the only time Thought's been in with his friends, 2 starts and 4 starts back, he's been good. Looney Sema's a late defection out of this race, but this is all about Thought because he blasts this field. Self-Taught actually runs 3rd in here, but this is Thought. This is Potter Pop. It's for Fernando Abreu, and they took a shot last time for 40. That didn't work out because that's not his kind of group. But this is Thought now, thumping this field by 3 lengths. Thanks, Bob. Great job on all this, by the way. And this is the horse to beat. The rail is not great, but point blank, Thought's best race is just better than this group, Ron. Does he bring it today? I don't know, but that's a simple statement of fact.
Well, there's a 6-time winner in this race, and that's the 4, Belson Brooks for Nolan Ramsey. Turning back today to 7 furlongs, I like the fact that the horse has won a couple of races at that in-between distance, and I think this horse has a big shot in here. It's Thought. Then you have to look somewhere else.
He does have a big shot. He is a 6-time winner. He's also lost 7 in a row. He's not winning races anymore. And only 2 of those losses are with Nolan Ramsey. And admittedly, they were in races where he was in way over his head. So like Thought, he's going to meet some friends today. And it's been a long time since he's been at a level like this. But he struggles with consistency.
Well, tell us about the 3. That's the important one here that I did not use. I used in 4, but I did not use it on my rainbow ticket. That's Blue Slide Park.
Well, the only time he's been on dirt in his last start for the first time in almost a year. He talk about over his head. I mean, he's with Tennessee Lamb, Thor. That group would just, be maybe 2 to 5 against a group like this. He wasn't completely disgraced. He beat a horse home. He was only beaten 11 1/4 lengths. Now he's in the proper level. Oscar Gonzalez calling the shots. We're both hoping Oscar Gonzalez has a good day today.
Sounds like he has to.
Yes, it sounds like he has to. For a former leading owner here, Vicente Stella, I think this horse is intriguing today.
Race number 8 at this one, also on the turf at 5 furlongs. This time it's an allowance optional claimant for fillies, 3-year-olds. And we do have a scratch in here of the number 10 horse and a jockey change on the number 3, make that rider Edgar Perez. So, and we'll see how this plays out. And you remember Samantha Stickett? She used the 1. That was a single. You singled the 9 in here. I used both. Let's show Make Haste.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make Haste. Don't be confused with her doing a lot of running here. She really didn't. It was her first start in the U.S. It was her first start for Christophe Clement. It was in a stakes race won by Chloe, a first-time turfer for Jose D'Angelo. She runs fine. She runs well. It was a fast race. Like I said, she's going to get Lasix today. It's behind her now. What I did like and what Irad did, he put her into the race early. We all kind of worried as a European. Their turf racing is so different than here, especially at Gulfstream Park. We wondered if she was going to be 15 lengths behind early. She actually showed a lot of tactical speed today in that race. She is so much the horse to beat today. But it's a relatively quick turnaround. You maybe would have thought she would have been in a stakes race or something. So we'll have to see here what she gets today. I like the Lasix going on today.
And Origami was in that race, too.
Origami was in that race, too. She did not do a lot of running, but she's going to add blinkers today. That was her first turf sprint try. I expect her to be a lot tighter today.
Now, the 1 May Mischief that I used in second, Brian faded this horse a little bit. Samantha really likes this horse. I'm going to show you a stat on Safi Joseph Jr. Of course, he's got 2 of them in here. We'll check his stat. This is first after a trainer switch to Peter de Turf in the past 4 years. 3 for 10, 30%, 70% in the money, 148 is the return of investment. It's just something to show you here.
Sure.
And it's Safi. You got to give this, you got to give this horse a second look, in my estimation.
This horse has worked huge. on the turf. This horse is wildly fast, but there is so much speed in here. Not going to get into jockey's musical chairs. I want to mention one thing. Edgar Zayas is going to ride the 9, okay? Mika Husbands is going to ride the 4. Cipriano Gil, who has done good work with Safi, he's going to ride the 1. I don't know what to make of it, Ron.
Yeah,
He's not a go-to guy.
That's
for
a
Safi.
good point. And now what about She's in the Mood?
Check her out, okay? This is a really slow race in New York against restricted foes. This was back in August. She was really good with a lot of trouble, Ron. She's going to get up and win this race by a head. You can see her checking back here. Bob, thanks for digging this one up. And you could still see she's got nowhere to go here. She's going to end up winning by a head. You got to give her a heck of a lot of credit for coming up here and closing like she did. She was 10-1 that day. Melanie Giddings, Sean Bridgemahan. We have not seen her since. Like I mentioned, very, very slow race on the figures. She's returning today with Lasix and a stretch kick, again, in a race with a load of speed. If you want a price outside the box, I think she's the one.
Yeah, 10-1 on the morning line, so good video to see. Flipping the page and going to race number 9. This one is going to be 1 mile and 1/8. Mark that down. Not a mile and a 16th. This one is, for fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and upward. No scratches in the race. A field of 7. My best bet of the afternoon, North and Lady, I just thought fits here perfectly for David Fawkes. We'll show you a stat real quick on David with North End Lady, and here's where my day goes. This is turf to Tapeta in the past 4 years. Solid, 24%, 53%, 284 is the return of investment. I'm jumping aboard here, but I saved a little bit with Tape Runner just because it was Victor Barboza Jr.
Yeah, Ron, if I'm fortunate to get to this race, I will get through this race because I'm essentially buying it. I have no opinion. I did pick your horse. She hasn't run on Tapeta, nor has the 1 Biloxi Blues. That's my exacta, but I think they're better horses than the horses that have run on Tapeta, and I think that's what's significant.
Yeah, Jimmy Toner's got the number 1 Biloxi Blues, and, he's trying to, stretching out to the mile and an 8th with his horse. It looks like that's going to help him. So, I had him a little further down on the ticket. I did go 3-6. My next pick was Biloxi Blues.
I want to quickly mention the 2 for Chad Brown and Goa. Who's been absolutely dreadful in 2 turf starts here. But her 2 wins are on an all-weather surface over in Europe. She's going to run on Lasix on the all-weather for the first time today. I just don't like her races, and they have been really bad at 5-2 and 7-1. Hey, she's got proven all-weather form.
Yeah, and you get a little break in weights with Micah Husbands in the saddle. So that is the 2 I had a little further down on my ticket. But like I said, I went 3-6 here in that Rainbow 6. And basically, we're talking about every race has got tries, supers, has got this. We're sort of just keying in because of the mandatory payout. We're going to wrap the day up, 7.5 furlongs. These are maiden filly, 3-year-old scratch, the 1 more acceleration. And, it's right there. Do you go with the first-time starter, from an excellent barn, Brad Cox, or do you go somewhere else like you did with Wonderland, and we can show why?
Well, Timeless Wonder and Wonderland, this is the race now. Here's another Todd Pletcher sprinter to router. He's already won with it this week on the turf. Timeless Wonder is threading through, going to get beaten 3/4 of a length for the Hall of Fame, or the homebred here for the Lows. And Wonderland on the outside, just too late to the party in what was her first start since September. But she's running on nicely late. Todd even gets checked slightly here. I just felt with the post and the race behind her, Wonderland might be able to improve enough to maybe turn the tables. And here's your gallop out. Bob, thank you so much. She's really galloping out nicely. I like the fact that now that race is behind her, Ron.
Yeah, we'll see it. And as I mentioned, the 7-horse who you sort of got to put on your ticket. You don't want to get beat by Brad Cox, first-time starter on the turf. 21% with first-time starters. Turf's not his game. You got to admit that.
No.
He does well, but it's not his main thing. So you got to give this horse who's bred bred absolutely beautifully for the grass.
Well, Brad's already won with a first-time turfer here at Gulfstream this year, so take note of that. The Dam was a win machine. She started 3 for 3. She was 17 for 28 overall over at Norway. You know Norway so well. Group 3 winner over there, too. Yeah. 6 full. She is a half to Dalarna, who was a turf stakes winner right here at Gulfstream and earned over $250,000. There's some pedigree here, and he wants Edgar Zayas, who, as I've said 200 times, rides the turf better than anybody.
Well, let's rewind and go back to Thursday, the last race. 8 Timeless Wonder. There's a trainer, Todd Pletcher, that had a very similar situation with a horse stretching out from 5 to 7.5 furlongs and closed in the stretch. I believe it was your best bet, or I know you picked it. Came flying in the stretch like nobody else was there. You got to use this horse.
Exactly the same kind of horse. Yep, and he did it the other day with a horse that ran pretty well, too.
And then the 9 horse, I just wanted to touch on, Super Willy Wild. I think that's almost what Mary Ryan used to call me. Not quite, but almost. Ran okay for Mike Trombetta.
Absolutely.
Also, albeit on the Tapeta, albeit at 5 furlongs. We love the work that Mike does.
Yep.
See how this horse runs.
Well, this is a hard spawn who wants nothing to do with 5 furlongs. I promise you that. And the dam won the Hilltop up at Pimlico on the turf. So there's some pedigree here. And this is a horse that's going to relish the additional ground, which today is almost 3 extra furlongs and another turn, too.
Yeah, so we got a lot going on here. A lot going on in this
Correct.
turn, right?
That is the truest thing you will say all day.
Well, we're not done yet because we got our lightning round, and of course it's going to be quite a day. And I guess the big story, mandatory payout, right?
Race 5 through 10 today. The weather is absolutely perfect. 4.5 is the estimated pool. We'll see. The carryover is 558. We got plenty of time. Our tickets are out there, as you heard Ronnie say. Him and Samantha filmed a video that's on YouTube as well as Twitter. No stone has been left unturned today, my friend.
Yes, and besides that, we have a great wager, the Tropical Turf Pick 3, which kicks off, I believe, in race 5.
Race 5, the
last
last
3,
last 3 turf races of the day, and of course that also kicks off the Rainbow 6. This is arguably the best bet. Well, we'll call it the co-best bet with the coast to coast, but a $3 base minimum wager and a 15% takeout, and a bet that always pays more than the parlay.
Yeah, I'd never seen this thing paid little.
No.
You never say, oh, geez, it was $21.
Never.
Ever.
Nope.
So, exciting day yesterday. That we had, rooting for someone who actually came through with a win in her first start as a professional.
Cool. Taylor Kingsley, 19-year-old, I believe, the daughter of Arch Kingsley, who's a pretty top guy in the steeplechase sport, and Princetown, who of course I didn't play yesterday after playing them both turf starts. And what a cagey ride by Taylor too. She knows she's getting all this weight, 10-pound apprentice, puts him on the lead, and he was so good, and it was really cool to see. You were out there. Here, we're going to see it in a second. There's Arch with the salmon pants on, and there you go. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I have a video on YouTube. You could see that. Of course, the traditional dousing after you win your first race. She won a couple of races as an amateur up at our sister track, Laurel. I believe it was at Laurel.
Yeah.
But she looked really professional. If you watched the race, she twirled her stick. It was just a good job.
That was cool, and it was good to see Arch as well. He was just, as any father would be, absolutely elated. So
I spoke to her after the races when I was walking out, and she said that she's just got a little tired in the stretch. She needs to get a little stronger.
Right.
But
you were excited.
I loved it.
You were excited.
I loved that. It's such a great story, and our friend Megan Connolly, it's like her niece, so we did extra good yelling for her.
Something she'll never forget.
Yeah, best bet.
Best bet is early. It's not in the Rainbow, unfortunately, but it's Sterling Harmony that would give you a little bankroll boost to the Rainbow.
Yeah, mine is in the Rainbow, and it's that horse, race number 9, North End Lady. I like the stat with the David Fawkes and your long shot today.
And we'll see. Race 2, 2 big scratches, including your morning line favorite. So Will of a Warrior, we'll see. Still should be a square price, though.
And mine is in the opening leg of the Rainbow 6. It's the 5 Carnane. It's 6-1 on the morning line for a bond that's starting to show some good stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it all plays out. That's it for us. We're going to turn it over to Pete Aiello. As I mentioned at the top, of course, Samantha will be joining us throughout the afternoon. And good luck with your Rainbow 6 ticket. You couldn't ask for a better day to bet it.